So they coming up with a new prison that allows inmates to serve years of their sentence in just a matter of minutes. So the criminals is going to have a choice to spend tens of years behind bars, or they can make the choice to get the artificial memory implanted into their brain. So this process is called Cognify. And the intent of it is to treat the criminal like a patient. They're going to try to change the person's brain chemistry. After this process, when they re-enter society, they will be new and reformed, and they won't even be capable of committing any other crime. The chip can make the patient feel empathetic. Depending on the severity of the crime, the chip can also make you feel the emotional and physical pain of the victim and the family members. You can feel what they felt. So the process only takes about 7 minutes. But to the patient, it seemed like it had been years. Last year, the U.S. government spent $8.7 billion taxpayers' dollars on the prison. They say with this new prison, they can save money for healthcare, education. Also, they feel that it will be so many reformed people that doesn't commit crimes. Y'all leave in the comments and tell me what y'all think about this. Do y'all think this is actually going to work? Or do y'all think that they're creating something that they don't even know that they're creating?
Wild. Cognify is a new concept for prison reform where criminals would have the choice to choose between spending tens of years behind bars or instead opt to have AI artificial memories implanted into their brain. The idea is to treat criminals like patients and permanently change their brain chemistry by implanting these artificial memories so that when they re-enter society, they are a new and completely reformed person who mentally cannot commit any more crimes. The way that it works is that depending on the severity of the crime, AI would design these false memories to be implanted that would make the person more empathetic, or in some circumstances make them physically and emotionally feel the pain of their victims and their victims' families. Even though this process only takes about 7 minutes, to the subject, it would feel like it had been years. Last year, the United States government spent $8.7 billion of taxpayer money on the prison system. This whole process would cut that spend significantly, and we could use that extra money on healthcare, education, and other technology advancements. Not to mention, you would have a whole new group of rehabilitation. This is
fact check me on this. This is a program, Cognify. It's a proposal. It's not happening, but this is a proposal, a real thing they're talking about doing. Okay, so they're going to give inmates the choice to either spend tens of years in prison, or they have AI implanted memories put into their brain, and they be treated as, you know, like guinea pigs to try to change them and keep them from being a fucking criminal. Cognify. Google it. Yeah. It changes their DNA and RNA too. Oh, by the way. All right. Bye.
So this is proper crazy shit. You Google it. It's called Cognify Prison Rehabilitation. It's a cross between sort of Total Recall and Demolition Man. What they do, they're planning to do this in the States. They put an AI chip in your brain, and they sort of put you to sleep, I'm assuming, and it plays sort of like it reprograms your brain to think differently, to learn your new skills. Basically, you can get, when you've done a crime, you can either opt for normal prison or you can opt for this Cognify therapy. And basically, they put you in a chamber, strap all this stuff to your head, and then they reprogram and train your brain so that, like, it's almost like you're asleep for like your 10 years or your 15 years or your 5 years or whatever, and it trains you and teaches you to be a decent person again. And like I say, it can train you like new skills, or it can educate you, teach you the better ways of the world and how to be a good person. And it's actually something they're looking at doing over in the States. If you, like I say, Google it. Cognify Prison Therapy. It's fucking, it's like they're doing it. It's not a fuck about it, they're doing it. I've never heard anything like it before. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing? If you was a criminal, was it something you'd opt to do? It's mega futuristic, crazy fucking stuff. I think it's mega interesting. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. I think it's fucking crazy shit. Have a good day. Love you all.
Alright, first and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakai Kodesh. I want to give double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. I'm the brother you wanted done, back another quick lesson, Lord willing, it's edifying. And this is a quick in transit lesson where I want to talk about this Cognify prison rehab chip. Alright, the elder Manasseh Cubans, GMS South Carolina 08. He did a lesson on this during the week where he brought out different clips showing how the so-called white man, who was the devil and Satan that the Bible speaks of, Esau, Edom, he has this concept of a microchip implant, a brain chip implant to be precise, in which basically inmates will serve their prison sentence in a matter of minutes, whether it be a 40-year sentence, 25 years of life, whatever it may be. And that's some real devilish shit, because it's tempting. All right, and as we know, the RFID chip implant, whether it be in your brain, your hand, or anywhere in your body, it is the mark of the beast, the prophecy of Revelation 13 and 16 through 18. And we know that it's also dealing with the hour of temptation. That's when they're going to make that chip mandatory. So right now you see different voluntary examples of it. You see Sweden, they got a lot of people. I think it's over 50,000 people that are microchipped, and they use their chips for different various things, such as buying and selling being the main one. All right, as the Apostle John had the vision on the island of Patmos, he saw people buying and selling with their chip, but you have other uses of this chip, all right, for other uses of so-called convenience. And that's where this thing is tempting. All right, but ultimately it's going to be tempting where you won't be able to buy or sell without it, because the global economy is going to be digitalized. You see, that's what they're working on right now. You had Dabu 777, which I want to do a separate lesson on this particular topic. But he just put up a video a few minutes ago dealing with how the Federal Reserve is about to have a meeting on Monday, March 10th, if I'm not mistaken, 2025, in which they're basically going to roll out this new digital payment system, this cross-border digital payment system. All right, where they're eventually doing away with cash, paper currencies, the different various currencies of the world, such as the rubles, the yuan, the yen, the American dollar, so on and so forth, the peso. They're going to do away with all of these physical forms of paper currency and turn it into a digital currency. All right, and that's ultimately when that hour of temptation will be fulfilled. But just like it tells you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, at the end, these visions, these prophecies were going to speak. And there was no way we could guess that they would have this Cognify rehab chip. They might have alluded to it in different movies like Demolition Man, even Minority Report. What's that other one? Total Recall. They showed you in movies, but when you actually read in the prophecy and it says buying and selling, we mainly would just harp on that as far as it being a currency, which it is going to be. That's going to be the main part of the New World Order and how people are going to be allowed into that New World Order. But as we're seeing, you got people that are quadriplegics, people that can't speak, they're deaf, they may be blind, dumb, right? They have these different infirmities, these birth defects. And here the so-called white man, being the devil that he is, deceiving by those miracles, those wonders that it speaks about in Revelation, the 19th chapter, and also 2 Thessalonians 2. I believe 1 Corinthians 11, Apostle Paul also made mention that Satan would transform himself into an angel of light. All right, so these devils are pulling out every trick, out the hat, so to speak. Every magician trick, every witch angle that they could bring about this microchip device, they're bringing it out. You see, and so I just want to read the scriptures, because an important part of Revelation 13 concerning this prison cognified chip, this rehab chip, is the part where it says free or bond. This is Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all. That he is talking about the beast system, which ultimately is led by the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. All right, but the beast itself is going into NATO. All right, the different European nations that make up NATO, and the EU, which is the European Union. All right, which Russia is not a part of that, but they're going to be a part of implementing this chip, because like it says, he calls it all. So it's through that system of basically the central banking, Federal Reserve banking system, because they're the ones that really control NATO. They're the ones that fund all these different nations, and pretty much they're the ones that got the full control over everything. All right, but they're going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. See, so why would a bond person really have a temptation to take a microchip when a microchip is to buy and sell, when they in bondage anyways, which basically is like a prison. You know, they're basically essentially a slave. So where would the temptation really lie? Well, now you have this concept of this chip, man. But either way, if this thing comes to life or not, they're still going to be tempted ultimately, because they may offer you to be free, all right, to take the chip, and they'll free you in society, because this way they could track you. You know, you won't be able to commit crime and get away with it. However they present this thing, it's going to be tempting to all classes of people, all demographic, all social classes, etc. All right, because the ultimate thing, once again, is like it says, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So either way, buying and selling, you know, that's basically any transactions. You won't be able to eat, you won't be able to pay bills. And once again, if a person is in bondage, if they're in prison, obviously the temptation may not be as strong, but they'll just put it in another way to ultimately tempt you. All right, same way with a poor person. If a person's already poor, they may offer some type of incentives with this chip. For a person that's rich, we already know they've already fallen into diverse temptation, like it mentions in 1 Timothy the 6th chapter, because now you're dealing with the wealth transfer of turning your fiat paper currency into a digital currency. All right, so you're already going to have to basically go along to get along with this system. You see, you won't really have a choice if you're a rich person of this world, unless you want to lose all your riches. But even like Yahweh say, they that are rich will hardly enter the kingdom, because it's a hard thing to let go of all that wealth and riches, man. It's not an easy thing. So basically the moral of the story is that it's going to be an hour temptation for all people, but obviously some people are going to be tempted more than others. All right, and that's ultimately because of their own lust, like it mentions in the book of James. All right, it's not the Heavenly Father that tempts you, but it's your own lust that leads you to do things that are off. All right, but yeah, the Heavenly Father may have Satan presented to you in a certain way to try you. And that's what this whole thing is about. And like the scriptures say that 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, the Most High will not tempt you above what you are able to. So he's not going to put more upon you than basically your circumstances. You see, like I said, for men that's already poor, that don't really have much in this world, they don't really have much that's attaching them to this world to really give them a reason to want to take the chip. And ultimately, let me just say this, should have said this from the beginning, because this is what Revelation 3 and 10 is even alluding to begin with. You got to be of the Lord's elect. That's really the ultimate, that's the most basic way to put it. The elect are the ones that's not going to take the chip, that's not going to fall into that temptation. If you're not of the Lord's elect, which means you weren't predestined from the foundation of the world, you weren't chosen by Yahweh, by Shemiah, some way, somehow, you're going to take the chip, whether you are born and, you know, whether you are poor, and, you know, the temptation is not as strong as somebody else that's more amalgamated with this world, so to speak. You're still going to take it, all right, whether it's to feed your family. It's so many different reasons on how, you know, excuses that people are going to put to take this microchip, and that's the thing that makes it fearful. All right, that's the thing where you fear Yahweh by Shemiah, and you hope to be a part of the elect, to be protected from that, to be given the Holy Spirit to deny the chip. All right, because we could say a million things right now, but ultimately we'll all be tested on that level. All right, which is a trial of your faith. You see, so the only ones who can pass the trial of faith is the ones that have faith. The only ones that have faith is the elect, pursuing Ephesians 2 and 8. That's the only ones that's going to be saved. It says, by grace are ye saved through faith, and not of yourselves. It is a gift of the Most High. So ultimately, Yahweh would have to give you the gift of faith if you're the elect. And that's what's going to make you endure through the hour of temptation. So that's really to put in a nutshell. But like I said, there's different intricacies and details to these prophecies. Like Apostle Paul said, man, when we prophesy, we looking through a glass darkly. All right, which means like a fogged up, you know, kind of lens. We get the general idea of what this prophecy is talking about. The mark of the beast, you know, being a currency, being You want to be able to buy, so not being a currency, but allowing you to use the currency to buy and sell. But we just never, like, certain things we just wouldn't know until the time is there. You see what I'm saying? We can't tell you when they're going to implement it. We can't tell you if the chips are going to have different companies, or is it going to be a government thing. There's certain things that we just, on a detailed level, we just don't know. All right, so with that being said, at the end of the day, we still told you that it's the chip. So whenever they do implement it, all right, you heard it first at Great Millstone through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel. You're going to have these other guys, they're going to act like they either been teaching it, or they finally going to admit, I'm talking about these other Hebrew Israelite camp leaders, which are really false prophets, but maybe they will come out and admit it in the end. All right, we don't know. But at the end of the day, we always been telling you that, even though we don't know all the details, all right? So with that being said, this is Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And what entails it being an hour of temptation is that they're going to make that chip mandatory. All right. And whether somebody knows that it's the mark of the beast, whether they don't know, whether they're being deceived into doing it because they're being promised a better life or whatever it may be, like an example of this Cognify rehab chip, which way that particular person is tempted, all right, they're going to have to deny taking that chip. And once again, only the elect is going to do that, because like it just reads, Yahweh Shai got to give you that spirit. He got to keep you from that hour of temptation, which means he's not going to let you fall and be tempted to the point of overthrow. All right, because again, it's a trial. When you go into that word temptation, it's basically a trial or a test. So, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, we know that only the elect is not going to take the chip. Only the elect is going to be able to endure that temptation, deny it, and have enough faith in Yahweh Shemel Shah to be delivered from that. You see? So with that, I'm going to say, call Allah Yahweh Shemel Shah. Lord willing, you was edified. Shalom.